It is the day after Christmas. I still haven't got a straight answer on what the hell Boxing Day is. I've heard that's the day you go around and you give boxes of presents. I've heard that's the day of fighting where people do boxing. I've heard that's the servants' holiday. I've heard a couple different things. My whole life, I never got a straight answer. For me, this would have been my father's birthday. And obviously, I'm really feeling it this year, which is weird. He's been gone for quite some time now, and it feels like it happened 2 years ago. So he's been on my mind, obviously. I've talked about him a lot, and we're at the beginning of a new year, and Bradley from Australia shared an Australian phrase with me, an expression that means everything's going to be okay. She'll be right, mate. And I will, and it will, and we will. Everything will be fine. And I know tears make people uncomfortable, but I watched what suppressing emotion can do to my mother, to the body, and I made the resolution, if somebody's got to be uncomfortable in the short term so I can be okay in the long term, you're going to have to be uncomfortable. But Brad got me thinking about, my dad had a lot of expressions. One of them was, you don't have to eat a mile of shit to find out where it came from. Words to live by, let me tell you. But one of the other things he would say is there's 2 good days to plant a tree. 20 years ago and today. And with the new year happening, I think we're at a plant a tree today kind of moment. And a lot of people do resolutions. I'm not a resolution person because we give up on resolutions. What I am a big fan of is goal setting. And obviously that's worked for me. I set a goal for myself to reverse my diabetes. I didn't put a time thing on it though. I didn't say by such and such time. Because I think you set yourself up for failure when that happens. If you just make the determination, I'm going to do X, and leave the timeline open, it gives you more room to maneuver, and it makes things more psychologically flexible. You're not pushing against things that are out of your control. I've had a lot of stuff out of my control, especially the last week. We've had house guests, loud ones, who are contentious. That, and some people like that. Some people feel better when they sharpen themselves through interaction with others. I like to sharpen myself on myself and then have warm interactions with others, but to each his own, right? But some of the insights that I've had for me are it's okay to be in a recovery mode. It is okay to just kind of go with the flow. So one of the insights I had, I really pushed myself to improve, especially since, now that I've hit the first goal, reverse the diabetes, the next goal is keep the numbers there, or even better, lower them, right? I'm aiming to be non-medication dependent. So that means I've got to bring my A1C down a little bit more, which means now I have a new goal. I'm not saying I have to do it this year. I'm not saying I have to do it in a particular time frame. It's just something I'm working toward. But, lack of sleep adversely impacts you. The weird once a year nibbles that are available can adversely affect you. So instead of driving, I took a strategic defense stance. Can I just maintain as close to status quo as possible while I navigate this 2 weeks of the year? And we're halfway through the 2 weeks, and I'm doing fine. And I got a lot of sleep last night, and I'm feeling very charged up. So I'm thinking about what are the goals I want to do. And I probably have mentioned, if you're new, there's a channel on YouTube, My Life by AI. And this guy named Dan has turned his life over to ChatGPT so that he can improve his life on every level. And it's working for him. And I became a Patreon, and I'm learning Discord and all that other stuff. I'm in 100% on his system. And it's that little extra tool I needed to get me through. But he is planning to do a thing in January. He does not know I'm talking to you guys about this. This is not sponsored or anything. But in January, he's doing AI, how to do AI to reset your life thing for 30 days. And he's got a whole thing set up for people who've never used it. I've used it for a while. I do not plan, and this is where we're getting my goals, I do not plan to monkey with the AI setup I have right now. On ChatGPT, I'm working on a couple psychological components, and I'm not recommending ChatGPT to replace a therapist. I'm not. I'm using it to confront where I have habituated some thinking around defensive body management. So, when I was almost 400 pounds, it was hard to get up off the floor. And now I'm 227 pounds, which is a lot less. Psychologically, I still think like the woman who was almost 400 pounds. And so I've got some coaching components in there to short circuit that old habit of thinking, and to get back into my new, fitter, healthier body. So yes, therapy has its place, and I've had therapy. I'm a big fan of therapy. Like anybody who goes into therapy, I think everybody should get therapy. It's like the cheat code for life. You learn to reflect on your own thinking so that you can change your thinking. Because if you change the way you think, you will change your life. I absolutely believe that. So and then the AI that I'm using to manage the health data, I'm doing that in Gemini because Gemini, being a Google product, can extract information from YouTube. So I asked it to review Dan's channel and replicate the AI from there. It's not the fuzzy, warm, fake internet boyfriend that ChatGPT wants to be, but it gives me accurate data and really has helped me navigate this holiday season brilliantly. So for me, those things are set. Dan's program will probably do, for the vast majority of people, the weight loss, get fit, health thing that we all do come January 1. And I highly recommend it. I personally am going to use it to either work on my Hacking Diabetes Substack or optimize my YouTube channel. And I think, I don't know, yesterday it was I'll optimize YouTube. And today it's I need to work on the newsletter. Tomorrow it could be different. Who knows? I spent Christmas with a couple of friends of mine, and they have a 3-year-old. And Nicholas asked me what my favorite color was. And I told him, well, today my favorite color is green. And he was so startled that you could change your favorite from day to day. That's an interesting discovery he made, that you could be psychologically flexible that way. And yeah, so I'm, today I think my favorite color is copper. And today I think I need to work on the newsletter. And all of that could be different tomorrow. It could be completely different tomorrow. So, in honor of my dad, I say, let's plant some trees today and make a new plan for the new year, and be kind to each other, be encouraging to each other, to know that how about we just focus on the first 30 days of the year, and it can be anything. It can be anything. Maybe you want to cook a new recipe once a week for the next month. Or maybe you want to pull the clarinet out of the closet and see what you remember from high school. It's on my list of options. I am thinking about just doing a big, crazy list of all the things you could do in a year, and then picking just a couple of them as a focus. So that's the plan for the next week, is just planning to plant some trees and see where the year takes us. And that's my plan. I got my 50th subscriber on Christmas Day. Merry Christmas to me. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being here. Thank you if you're still here with me, because I did not plan to talk this long. If you're still here with me at this point in the video, I really appreciate the time you give me, and that you are sharing your effort, your thoughts, and I hope that it helps you reframe, rethink, remember. I would love to know, personally, I would love to know what sort of family expressions you guys have, or expressions from your country that you have. My mother's father, my grandpa, had one that I've never been able to figure out, but logistically, I think you probably have to have a different kind of plumbing than I have for it to work. But he used to say, "Oh, piss up a rope." Okay, little hard in my circumstance, given the equipment that I have, but all right, I guess. We have a lot of colorful phrases in my family, if you haven't figured that out. All right. That's it. I'm done talking. I wanted to share. Thank you for being here, and you know, I hope I get one out to wish you Happy New Year. But if I don't, Happy New Year.